If you enjoy this content, please take a moment to rate and review it. Your feedback will greatly impact our ability to reach more people. Thank you. What's up, man?
I'm good. It's been a busy week.
Yes.
I'm sifting through a lot of Foundry applications, which is great, but a lot all piled up around me.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
A lot of entrepreneurs doing stuff.
The country's back open.
Yes. Yes. We opened up. The government got their act together somewhat.
I don't know if I'd say that, but
the basic thing of paying the employees of the government and sending out money for food stamps, et cetera. They do.
Yeah, the whole thing is, I realize that the matter of healthcare affordability is a very important matter, right? I mean, obviously, it's a super important matter. But to have let the situation get to where it got, our elected officials are highly dysfunctional at this point.
Yes.
They're just highly dysfunctional. It's, and I'm not, at a certain point you start realizing like you really just want to be Team America. You know what I mean? And it's hard to do right now. It's hard to do,
Yeah, I'm frustrated with everybody up there, no matter which side they're on.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it is what it is. The government is open, and all the here's the important thing. Hopefully, SNAP benefits will flow to the people who need them, and hopefully, all the government employees that have been working and keeping the country running will be able to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like, let's just look at the people. Right. I spent a lot of time this week working with Claude Code, consuming many, 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 many podcasts. And so you are going to lead. I'm going to walk through the stories this week, but you're going to lead a lot because I think you've been more dialed into the news than I have. I've had my head
it's
down.
Okay.
Working.
I want you coding with Claude.
Yeah, I've been working on some cool stuff for the company. So with that, let's dig in. Starting out with the fact that the government is reopened. So literally, I saw the news and I just kind of like put my head back down and went back to the podcast and the coding. Like what actually transpired? What I saw was that there were a group of, I think it was 10. Was it 8 or 10 Democrats?
I think it was 8, but maybe it was 10.
Let's say 8. So there was a group of 8 Democrats. The ones that were notable that I saw were Tim Kaine and John Fetterman, that basically broke away from the rest of the Democratic Party and agreed to a deal that was negotiated with the Republicans on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. I think it started Friday night, maybe. They had a meeting. Those 8, maybe there were 10, and only 8 actually ended up voting, met with Thune, I think, late Friday after all the sessions to try to actually talk to each other and figure out something. And then it ended in a Sunday vote. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then this week, today, so Thursday, right? I mean, I feel like I saw posts around the signing of this executive order and the government's reopened. Yeah. The bill has been ratified. So what is the bill? Like what do we have on our hands here?
So they passed, I think, 4 big pieces. The main one is they funded the government until January 30th, maybe? Sometime in January. So it's not that far away. Okay. But we have funding until, let's say, January 30th. It might be a different day in January. And then they also funded 3 parts of the government. The way the appropriations process works, they've divided into 12 parts, and they agreed on the 3 easiest. So the agricultural department, which is where the SNAP benefits are, that is funded for all of next year.
Great.
The foreign activities, may call it something different, maybe, but it's basically like the military abroad. It might include other like State Department and things that got funded. I think both of those things are wide bipartisan approval. Yeah. And then the most popular is the legislative branch, that got funded, which is their pay. So, not surprising they're going to pay themselves. And there are 9 more that they have to figure out. And then the Democrats got...
So does that mean that like TSA and FAA are not agreed on yet?
They're not agreed on yet, no. But we now have money until January to pay the FAA payroll.
Sure.
But there's not appropriations bill for the whole thing.
Okay.
And then the other thing the Democrats got was Thune's word, and they seem to think that's valuable. His word that he will bring up the ACA subsidies for a full vote in the Senate. So everyone will be on record as, wanting to end the subsidies or wanting to extend them.
But they're pulling it out of HR 1 for a specific Senate vote.
Yeah, I don't know if they can go back and change HR 1, but they're going to do a specific vote so that everyone has to vote one way or the other. I guess they could abstain on that topic to get on the record.
Is it just for posterity or like can the vote actually impact whether the subsidies remain or not?
I don't think they can do it without the House. So if the Senate voted to extend the subsidies, that would put a lot of pressure on the House. But I'm not sure that it will pass.
I mean, after this last election, the House is not looking good for the Republicans at the moment anyway. So
they're going to lose the House after the next election, I think.
Yeah.
But that's not going to matter for next year.
Right.
And then kind of simultaneously, the Republicans have started talking about providing funding for people to buy insurance through different means, not through the subsidies. And there's lots of ideas around that various Republicans like sending stimmy checks or using HSAs or whatever. So I think the Democrats have gotten the topic on the table for discussion.
Okay.
And there'll be a vote on it. And then hopefully there'll be some money in whatever form. The subsidies are the easiest to put in place because everyone already knows what they are. But Trump likes the sending money to the people. So who knows what will actually come out of that.
Yeah. All right. Fed is increasingly torn over a December rate cut, citing the fog.
The Fed is citing they don't have a lot of data. A bunch of Fed governors were out this week talking about the lack of consensus at the committee. And Polymarket has it down to almost 50% that they will cut 25 basis points, 50% they won't. I think it's 53% for, which is a significant change. Last week, it was like in the 75 to 80%. So, you know how I feel. I don't think there's a question that the job piece is more dire than the price control piece. But that's not how the committee feels.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess off that news, stock market sold off.
Yeah. From that news and Disney missing earnings, everything sold off. Like 800 points in the Dow. The S&P was down. Everything was down today because I think last week people were expecting a cut and now it's unclear.
Yeah. And I think also probably there's been sufficient AI bubble talk over the course of the last week, right? So I think if you combine all the AI bubble worries.
Yeah, Michael Burry, the big short guy, came out against it. I mean, I don't have it quoted, I should have brought it in, some study about OpenAI. In order to be able to meet the capital commitments that they have made, they need to get larger and more profitable than Google is today, which seems like a long way to go in less than 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, their projected capex is 10x of their current revenue.
Right. Of their revenue, and they spend a lot of money.
Not earnings, revenue.
Right. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of questions around that, but I also think there's a lot of signs that the AI cloud adoption and utilization is still growing very quickly. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, I So as I said, I spent the last 5 days working on an internal project for us with Claude Code. And it was actually the first time, because I, been doing fun stuff and
doing your job.
I've been doing other things but like we're towards the end of the year, working on this deal. It's terms are all agreed to. So, I have a moment to like work on some stuff. And I'm an old dev. I mean, I wrote software, led software teams, was a CTO. It is ridiculous how much I was able to accomplish in the amount of time that I had. Now, I don't think someone who was not previously a professional developer, or maybe even more importantly, developer manager, could have done what I did this week.
I mean, I've been beating my head against the wall. You get a long way, but you don't get to production grade.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, and you saw what I've done so far. It's like it's real. It's like legitimate application dev that I'm doing.
And in 2005.
Yes.
So that took you less than a week to build, I think, or maybe roughly a week.
Not even.
No, 5 days.
No, for sure less than a week.
In 2005, that same body of work would take how many man hours or how many people?
6 weeks.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, 6 weeks. And like many more hours per week than I spent this week.
You're spending 6 weeks more than full time, just heads down, working.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say it took me 5 days, I wasn't.
You're doing other stuff. You have a job here.
Yeah. I was not working nonstop on it 5 days. I was just interacting with it while I was doing it. Like literally, I'm like in a meeting and like just like answering a question So I think for me, seeing that, I don't believe it's a bubble. And I think there are so many people who have not actually engaged with it at that level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who you just don't know. I think people are chatting with it and they're like, it sort of replaces Google search. Okay, fine. Or it makes these stupid images or these stupid videos, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand how much of a productivity game changer it is going to be. And
because it's code. So the interface is through software. And if you are not a developer, it's hard to interact. Like you can chat with it, you can ask it to plan a trip for you somewhere, but the interface is hard for non-devs.
It will create many new jobs, and it will also empower many entrepreneurs, but not before it wipes out a ton of jobs.
Yes.
And that elimination of jobs is going to be a lot of value capture, like a ton of value capture. So as far as I can see right now, the numbers are actually pretty decent. I don't believe it to be a bubble.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that there's not going to be a quote unquote correction, but I think when you play it out over the long term, I think these stocks are right on. I think they're right on target, especially because we're going to talk later on the show about sort of China. Yeah. And yes, there are real disruptive things there, but I think ultimately the different nation states are going to create regulations around what you're able to do with different tools. And most corporations are going to just pay the money to Anthropic or to Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that's going away. So I
mean, there's going to be. I think there'll be significant fights over market share, but the cloud resources, are going to be needed. I mean, like they're going to be utilized. They're going to be very lucrative relative to the old-fashioned way of people and buildings and stuff getting things done.
The other thing is we're skipping ahead to the AI section, but the other thing is like people are conflating OpenAI with the Mag 7. Like the Mag 7 have real revenue generating products and real distribution. OpenAI's got distribution, but it's not deep. It's not multi-year long distribution, and like the product is still a little bit of a parlor trick, like relative to Tesla that people drive in every day.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not Microsoft, it's not Oracle, it's not Google. It's not. Yeah.
I mean, I think it is a question whether OpenAI will grow into the
that
need
one
to
company.
have all of that CapEx. But someone else will pick up those data centers.
Correct.
Like someone's going to build them.
Correct.
Doesn't need to be OpenAI.
Correct.
So
All right, let's keep moving. Verizon is about to cut 15,000 jobs. Now, I'm not sure this is an AI story. They have a new CEO. Apparently, the company is under operational pressure, losing customers. Dan Schulman, who was CEO at PayPal and Virgin Mobile, is now their CEO. He's doing the take the poison on the first earnings report, and so he's gone ahead and done that. But this company only had 100,000 employees. So this is not
it's a 15% layoff.
15%.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not an AI story. I mean, I'm sure there's AI that will make them more efficient, but they are cutting people because they need to be competitive and have too many people.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of the market is red in a sell-off, but right now, at this moment, Verizon is up.
Right.
The market loves these layoffs.
Yeah. It's great for shareholders. It's not good for the people, but it's great for shareholders.
No, and the CEOs and the boards of these publicly traded companies are incentivized to do what Wall Street likes.
Yes. That's their job. They can't not do that. Yeah.
So we're going to see more of this for sure. All right, AI rundown. Evidium, $22 million Series A raise to scale computational medical knowledge.
Yeah, so they are trying to create a new data set to really teach LLMs how the human body works, how medical diagnosis and treatment functions. Very ambitious. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's also pretty significant undertaking.
So the moat here is that the round was co-led by Health 2047, which is the venture studio founded by the AMA. Mm-hmm. So that's the moat, right? I mean, like normally I would be like, why are people doing this? The foundation model companies, blah, blah, blah. But your answer is the AMA is launching this company, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more confident with you either have proprietary data or proprietary distribution,
right,
or you shouldn't do that.
Or you shouldn't do it.
And I think the AMA has both of those.
Yeah, I think you're right.
At different levels, but
it's more the proprietary distribution.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Amae Health raises $25 million to improve care for severe mental illness. The Series B round was led by Altos Ventures, included participation from Quiet Capital, Blink Capital, Cedars-Sinai, Healthier Capital, and 8VC.
Yeah. So this is, I think a good approach at rethinking how do we treat mental illness in sort of a verticalized manner. So they have an entire team. Of course, they have psychiatrists, but they all have dietitians and whole health care, but focused on mental health.
Says their results are they've reduced 30-day hospital readmissions to about 4% versus the 23% national average. According to the announcement, has achieved score improvements of 76% for mania, 61% for psychosis, and 49% for suicidality through measurement-based care. So those are great results.
Yeah.
And Cedars-Sinai coming back in on the round, I think probably says that they're at least one partner that's happy with the results.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All right, HouseRx raises $55 million to scale in-clinic specialty pharmacy model. Specialty pharmacies are one of the few places where you can still make money in pharmacy. So it makes sense that they would be scaling it. This $55 million is a Series B. It's led by NEA with Town Hall Ventures, LRV Health, First Round Capital, Bessemer Venture Partners, and Silicon Valley Bank. So really strong group around the table. And what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so this is an older startup founded in 2021. Like you say, specialty pharmacy is maybe the best growth area in pharmacy right now, and they're growing really quickly.
Total capital raised $100 million so far. So, congrats to them. Moving into policy, the FDA is rolling back warning labels on HRT products for menopause, citing misinformation. So this, to me, is another one of those instances where we are seeing the influence of the podcast world on policy and on politics. Before this became, I think, a big deal in the policy world. And of course, we need to make sure we draw the connection for listeners that RFK Jr. rose to prominence during this last election cycle via podcasts. Okay.
Right.
Like it wasn't via social media, it was via podcasts. And there is a very, very strong biohacking, medicine 3.0 genre in the podcast world. Probably most led by Peter Attia and Andrew Huberman, but there are many, many others.
Yeah.
And if you are a listener to those podcasts, then you know one of the drums they've been beating for a while now is the fact that hormone replacement therapy for women has been demonized to the great detriment of women's health for decades. And it's time to end that. And so now we're seeing the FDA rolling back these warning labels.
Yeah, I think that's right. And podcasts in general are longer form. You can take enough time to explain why HRT, was demonized or how it was demonized and what it actually does for women and why it's beneficial. And I think it's good to have the FDA now understanding that there's a large body of evidence suggesting that it should be rolled back. And then they didn't roll back it like clean slate. They left a couple of things that they wanted to point out that you should still talk to your doctor about. So it seemed like they did a good job sort of trying to correct mistakes that were made in the past.
I think this is positive. All right, moving into the payer world. UnitedHealth stopped covering most remote patient monitoring. This is a pretty big story, I think. They're going to end the coverage of remote patient monitoring for most chronic health conditions among commercial and Medicare enrollees. Beginning Jan 1, they will only pay for commercial and Medicare members to use remote patient monitoring devices when they have heart failure or hypertensive disorders of pregnancy. And they've basically said that RPM is unproven and not medically necessary due to insufficient evidence of efficacy. So this is one of the big payers out there. Obviously, UHG is in the process of a turnaround. That's like, I think in their own words is what they would say. They're working on this turnaround, projecting to have it sort of completed by 2027, taking matters into their own hands and kind of peeling away from what has been the common coverage model established by CMS.
Yeah, I'm still shocked about this. I was shocked when it came out a couple days ago. I do not believe I've ever seen a payer decide not to cover something for its Medicare population that CMS is covering in the traditional fee-for-service Medicare. I haven't seen that before. I'm not saying it hasn't ever happened, but it's unusual.
So let me ask you, like, do you think that this is a matter of like Modern Healthcare putting this story out and like there's something about CMS's policy that we don't understand?
I mean, I didn't think it was allowed. I didn't think it was legal or allowed to make a coverage. No. Commercial payers have forever changed the rates they reimburse, and the whole point of Medicare Advantage is to you sort of capitate the patient, and then you're responsible for covering them in total. But even in the commercial book, I can't think of an example where CMS covers something and commercial does not. I didn't think that was allowed.
So, I mean, in the article, they say UnitedHealth Group says the policy complies with Medicare requirements. The American Telemedicine Association did not immediately respond. So,
so go back to that paragraph right there.
Yeah.
CMS requires Medicare Advantage insurance companies to cover the same services as traditional Medicare. CMS has covered remote patient monitoring services for many conditions for fee-for-service since 2019. That, to me at least, that suggests that
it's pointing to it, but it's not.
Well, the next line is UHG said the policy complies with Medicare requirements.
Right. So I mean, they're leaving some gray in the article. Because I'm with you. I mean, I don't know that it's possible to be a payer on behalf of Medicare and not comply,
not follow the
so and I guess the reason why I'm bringing it up is if it is in fact true that it does comply, then it could be heralding in a much broader sort of write down of the RPM industry.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I'm saying.
Right. And the reason it was shocking to me is CMS itself has added
Yes.
remote therapy.
Yes.
And added below 15 days.
Yes.
They are moving towards covering more variety of remote patient care and different iterations of it.
1,000%.
And so it just seems like they're going UHG is going the exact opposite direction, but they claim it's allowed. So I don't know.
Well, we'll see. I mean, listen, what CMS establishes is the direction of their policy versus, what the insurers in the markets are dealing with, who basically uniformly have MLRs over 90%. I mean, UHG's I think was 89%. But obviously, everyone knows the payers are not having fun right now, right, across the board. So it's like CMS might set out, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But if it's not a requirement, we may be seeing UnitedHealthcare leading the way and other payers just deciding, that they are not going to cover RPM, which is the more important thing, right? I mean, like when we think about as investors, I think we saw the signal of the proposed, rule around expanding RPM codes, as well as I think it was like paying some percentage of what they were previously paying, even if the person was using it to a lesser degree, right?
It's very close. It's almost the same.
Yeah, just basically, it's an expansion of support,
yes.
An expansion of payer support. But if that is contradicted by the UnitedHealthcare and other payers out here saying, yeah, we're not going to cover it, then the portfolio companies of VCs all over the country that are banking on RPM.
No question about that.
Right?
It's going to be really difficult for the market.
It's also really a mixed signal. I mean, to me, this is a very negative announcement for RPM.
There's no question it's a negative announcement for RPM. It goes further than that, though. If payers can elect to not cover procedures that they don't think are valuable, that's a very different role than they have had before.
Yeah.
They previously would fight and negotiate around the reimbursement rate, but I didn't know they were allowed to just decide not to cover something.
Well, maybe these higher MLRs are going to drive behaviors from the payers that we haven't seen in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they have to cover remote patient monitoring, but not every disease or whatever, because they did pick out two.
Right, which were probably the ones that they absolutely could not get out of.
Yeah, I guess so. Diabetes, I mean, they're not doing diabetes, which is
the one that everyone knows
most common one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Two Cigna stories back to back. The first, Cigna launches mental health collaboration with Headspace.
Yeah. So I think Cigna is really performing well. They got rid of their Medicare Advantage books. They only have their kind of ASO employer business.
Yeah, commercial. Yeah.
And they're now kind of leaning into mental health in a way that's, I think, really positive.
Yeah, well, they're not facing all these headwinds,
that
all the Medicare Advantage folks are dealing with, right? And then secondarily here, Cigna's teaming with Magic Johnson on a music initiative.
Yeah, so this was interesting. The ASMR thing, mostly on YouTube or Instagram, I've been just like flabbergasted and observing, not knowing what to make of it. But have you ever like watched and listened to an ASMR video? Yeah, it's cool.
Pretty calming.
It's cool. Yeah. It's calming.
I mean,
yeah. But so that they now are going to bring it to their members in partnership with Magic Johnson. Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it's similar to the last story with Headspace. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting here is Magic Johnson's ability to establish partnerships in all manner of industries.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a partnership with Sodexo. He's had a partnership with Starbucks. He's had a partnership with, I think it was AMC or Regal. Like it was one of the two movie theater brands. Cigna. I mean, he can. It doesn't matter the industry. This guy can partner with just about anybody.
There's sports figures that can cross over like that, but he certainly.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Going into providers, not a whole lot of stories, but we do have one. Kaiser Permanente notches 0.7% operating margin, $2.6 billion in net income in Q3 2025. Kaiser continues to perform.
Yes, that's right. They're doing a good job We cover all the earnings, so we're just sort of noting it.
Yep. All right. Going into a pharma rundown here, Pfizer completes up to $10 billion acquisition of Metsera. So we've been covering the tug of war between Pfizer and Novo over Metsera. And, look, Pfizer's CEO said he didn't think Novo could actually execute on what they had proposed. And I guess he was right. Yeah.
And I think it's probably good for the industry to have Pfizer with, a obesity, weight loss option. Novo already has one. So I don't know. I think Pfizer needed it more. They paid more. I mean, they had to get this deal.
1,000%. 1,000%. AstraZeneca revenue climbs on pipeline strength. The oncology unit, its top business jumped 19%.
Yeah. The oncology business is just growing crazily. So they're doing a good job.
Moderna swings to a loss on fewer COVID-19 vaccine sales. I mean,
I don't know what Moderna can do that is worth very much.
No, I agree. They had their moment.
I mean, the mRNA methodology, I think, has pretty narrow use cases. Not that it doesn't have use cases, but it's narrow to build the entire company on it.
Yeah, agree. All right, more drugs to fight high cholesterol are emerging. Patients have options beyond statins, and other alternatives are on the horizon.
Yeah, so I have heart disease, and I'm really focused on trying to learn about heart disease. I think we have a chance to really make a significant improvement in it. Yeah, it's the number one killer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good target to focus on.
Yeah. So I think we can end heart disease, defined as knock it out of the top 5 in 10 years, and getting cholesterol low is a critical piece of that because it's sort of an accumulation of damage over many years.
Yeah.
And there's several new drugs coming out, all different methodologies, different approaches, some that are a one-time effect, some that are just different methodologies, but a whole portfolio of different tools, which are great.
Yeah, I mean, the PCSK9 felt like over the course of the last 2 years, kind of the one I mostly heard emerging. Yeah. Does this article talk about things kind of even beyond those?
There's a CRISPR one. There's 2 or 3 that are sort of maybe a step behind that. We'll talk about Lilly in a little while. They have one. Of course, Lilly has lots of things, but heart disease, as we just said, is the biggest killer. So that and cancer are the 2 biggest markets to attack.
Yep.
So everyone's looking at it.
Yep. The final story here in pharma, I brought this one up. So it's not a story per se. It's a podcast episode. Stripe, which is massive fintech company. The 2 founders are John and Patrick Collison. They have a podcast called Cheeky Pint. And
they're Irish. Right?
They're Irish, yeah, exactly. And Dave Ricks, who's the CEO of Lilly, was on their podcast. The episode launched 2 days ago. And as soon as it came out, I sent it to you.
Yeah.
And while I was doing Claude Code, I was listening to it. And I'd stopped coding and actually pay attention to this podcast. It's over an hour long. A couple of things for me. I'd love to hear your takes on it. So I think we have been, over the course of the last couple of years, chronicling some of the things Lilly has been doing outside of GLP-1, right?
Yeah.
Lilly Direct was a big one that we covered. I think maybe last week we talked about the supercomputer that they're doing with NVIDIA. And then TuneLab is their open source platform where other people can collaborate and share models together to advance drug discovery, right? And then it's also publicly known Lilly is a LP in Jumpstart Nova, so we've got a great relationship with them. When I watched this podcast, I think it really hit me. Lilly is evolving beyond the traditional pharma company, right? They are starting, to me, to feel more like a tech company than a pharma company, which I think is brilliant, okay? Because when you think about where healthcare is going, there's a couple of undeniable but hard to swallow truths about it, right? The costs are unsustainable, and they are going to be dealt with one way or another, right? The costs aren't sustainable. They are going to be dealt with one way or another. We've been talking about job loss in so many industries. The job losses are coming to healthcare. They haven't come yet because some of the implications from HR1 and some of these other things have not hit yet. They're really going to start hitting in 2027. But when they do, the layoffs are coming to the providers. The layoffs are definitely coming. Pharma, however, is fundamentally different. They're not a labor-intensive business. They're a science-focused business. And their inefficiency has been the R&D process, right? And what is going to radically change not just the R&D process, but also the nature of the solutions that the pharma industry is going to be able to produce? Artificial intelligence, right? And so if you're a well-positioned pharma company, which Lilly is, do you sit on your heels and just say, "Glip one until we die"? Or do you leverage that really great position to ride the wave of the Max 7, right?
Right.
And effectively like self-disrupt and transform the entire industry that you're in, right? And as I was watching and listening to Dave talk to John and Patrick, I realized like his star is about to rise. Like we're about to see him be understood. Like Jensen Huang's been the CEO of Nvidia for a very long time.
Right.
Like he's only recently become like the super cool guy with the leather jacket and all that kind of stuff. And I think this guy is gonna end up being, I think, the biggest star in healthcare. I watched this and I was like, I don't think there's anyone close to him right now who can sit down with the co-founders of Stripe. Yeah. Like, can you name another person in healthcare who can like do that credibly and not just hold his own, but like actually drive the conversation effectively?
No. I mean, maybe the CEO of Cigna, but that's it. I mean, there's no one. Lilly is hitting in all cylinders. They have been investing way before this year in R&D, where they have a good pipeline of research. And what I was struck is that he is able to discuss sort of global health policy, and he frames it in the framing of like results. How can we get people to live better quality of life, live longer lives? And the point that he was making that I was just like floored with is that since 65, we have increased the life expectancy by 8 years. And about 90% of that, now he's reporting this and he runs a drug company, but 90% of that is due to pharmaceuticals, medications, which I think is, whether it's 90 or 85, it's most of it. And less than 10% of the money we spend on healthcare is going to pharmaceuticals. So people complain and bitch about the cost of one drug. But if you look at the overall system, we're not spending much on it compared to all the results and the impact of people's life.
So two things. Absolutely right. That was a mic drop moment on the podcast. Yeah. It also was like this, that's the kind of talking point you can hang a whole narrative on, right? Yes. And him being on this podcast, it's like, he's going direct. He's going direct like a tech CEO goes direct. Like he's not hiding behind press releases and you know what I mean? Like he's going direct. And so I don't know. I mean, I feel like we just came out of like when we started this show, all the negative attention was on pharma and private equity. Remember that?
Yeah.
There was not negative attention on the payers. Mm-hmm. And there's not negative attention on the providers, right? It was really around pharma and private equity. It's pretty much switched now, right? Like we're kind of beyond talking about the opioid epidemic, right? We're kind of beyond that, and GLP-1s are in vogue, and people really like them, and people think they're good, right? And the pharma industry produced the GLP-1s. So that actually has been I just hadn't really thought about it until I sat down and I watched him, and I wasn't thinking about the industry. I was more thinking about him as a personality, the sentiment in the industry, where the industry sentiment had sort of shifted to, and then where all the tailwinds are. Right. Like, even more importantly, where all the tailwinds are. And I was like, oh shit. Like Lilly might be the company.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about a podcast that because we do this every week, is it's long form.
Yes.
You have to be comfortable that all your facts, all the different things, because they could ask anything in 2 hours.
Yes.
And he comes out of a sales biz dev kind of starting point, but then very involved in the science and making decisions. And so he can talk about sales and markets, but also the science and genetics and how the research is done. And not many CEOs can do that. They are much more scripted by the PR team.
He felt, it's more important than sounded and looked like. He felt like a tech CEO.
Yeah.
To me. And that is just not something healthcare CEOs do. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't. Yeah. They don't feel like tech CEOs. So anyway, to me, we've been okay, this story, that story, blah, 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 blah. But this to me was a moment where I was like, okay, I think I've recognized something that I hadn't previously recognized. And it's this show to me is just about like evolving our scaffolding in terms of how we understand the industry. And when I watched this podcast, for me, the other thing I picked up from this podcast was Stripe's getting into healthcare. Mm-hmm. And that's a big deal. I mean, I think we're about to get into crypto here in a second, but people may think Stripe is just like a developer tool. They're building an L1 blockchain. They bought Bridge, a big stablecoin company. So you want to talk about an organization that could
really
revolutionize,
smart, and they have tons of money. Tons of money.
And they're into healthcare. Like I think they're into like biotech stuff. This is part of the reason why they were having a conversation with him.
Right.
So to me, this was another notch of the old healthcare industry is on its way out faster than people think it is. But all of the incumbents are not going to be left behind. Like, there are some that I think actually will take really strong leadership positions. And I think I can pretty definitively say like Lilly is certainly one of those.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Off my soapbox. This story by Health and Us. Scientists grow more hopeful about ending a global organ shortage. At an international conference, researchers at the forefront of animal-human transplantation compared notes and allowed themselves the first real optimism in decades. This is from the New York Times.
Yeah, so people have been talking about this. I worked in a lab in the 90s trying to grow human hearts inside of pigs. People have been talking about it forever because we need more organ donors. We don't have enough. People die of kidney and liver and heart, and we're making significant progress where it is they're making the most progress on kidneys, but all the organs are making progress where it is a human genetic kidney from a gene point of view, but it's being incubated surrogate. It's being grown in the medium of the pig's body.
Of the pig, right.
And they're having good success. Now, it's not as good as a human donor.
But we have shortages.
But we have shortages.
Right.
And the progress is accelerating. So it's hopeful.
That's awesome. Something to track. Let's talk crypto. Ethereum and Solana ETFs get a green light for staking via the U.S. Treasury IRS crypto fund guidance. So for the uninitiated, several of the biggest blockchains that are out there that have tokens, Ethereum and Solana are two of them. They reward you for what's called staking your token. So you go to Coinbase, you buy a bunch of Ethereum. Okay, let's say you buy 10 Ether. You can stake those Ether, meaning you lock them up in the network. Mm. And in return for locking those tokens up, the network pays you a reward. So this reward has been scrutinized as is it legal or is it not legal for the organizations that help you to as intermediaries to get access to Ether. If they issue that staking reward to you, is that legal? And obviously, under the Biden administration's regulatory regime, it was not legal. It was really, really problematic. Under the Trump administration's regulatory regime, all of that is being sort of reversed. The whole choke point 2.0 thing is being undone. And here we are. Like now you're going to be able to, through your Fidelity account, buy an ETF for either Ether or Solana and effectively get what will feel to you like a dividend.
Yeah.
You'll just get these.
It's very similar to a dividend.
You'll just get a dividend just for buying and holding. That is in addition to the appreciation of the underlying asset.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is sort of another sign of crypto sort of maturing and coming into the mainstream. There's no reason why Fidelity should keep the staking profits and not send it out to the people that actually paid the capital to buy the ETH. It never made sense that wasn't allowed, but now it is sort of condoned by the Treasury.
Yep. All right, Coinbase launched its platform for digital token offerings. So Coinbase purchased Echo, which was created by some sort of legends in the crypto space, and it was basically where you could sell tokens, do ICOs, and now they are launching one of the most anticipated tokens, which is Monad, which is basically like a Ethereum like L1 chain, but it's really, really focused on performance. So kind of think Solana, but Ethereum compatible. I think it's kind of an easy way to kind of put it, because it runs the EVM. It runs the same virtual machine, where Solana runs a different virtual machine. So all Ether apps can also run on
But the
Monad.
gas is cheaper, like Solana.
Gas is cheaper. Yeah, it's a more efficient V1.
Yeah, but I can use my ETH code there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You can take Solidity,
smart contracts.
Move your smart contracts, all that kind of stuff. Exactly. So Monad's been something people have been talking about and looking forward to for a long time, and the very first ICO effectively on the Coinbase platform is coming this week.
Yeah. I think it's great. And then furthermore, they have taken their view on what the fair and equitable approach to issuing new coins should be. Mm-hmm. So and maybe not everyone would know, but when you do an IPO and actually launch a stock on the public markets, insiders are locked up typically for 6 months. Sometimes it's customized. You might be a year. But you can't just, if you're an insider that created the company and you have all the inside information, you can't just sell your shares the day after you sell on the stock exchange. Mm-hmm. And I think that rule has been healthy, that you and there's also a bunch of standard reporting and things that you have to do.
Yep.
Coinbase did not just take those rules, but they created their own set of guidelines. And so the founders that have, whatever, millions of Monad coins, they can't sell for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then they don't use all the same things that the SEC uses in stocks. But I think it's great that Coinbase is probably one of the most respected crypto platforms. They're going to make it much more fair so that people don't get kind of tricked and lose money, and then there's a bad taste. It's much better to do it the right way.
Yep, agree. Coinbase just on the march of leading the pack in institutional crypto, but not by themselves. SoFi, which is an incredible neobank, global, World Bank, has launched crypto trading. So now directly from your bank account, you could buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. That's a big, big deal.
Yeah, so SoFi is really the first American company trying to do that, like one app to do everything.
Yeah.
Where you can do banking, mortgages, you can buy crypto, you can invest. China has that, but we haven't really had that. It's been a lot of fractured. But they're putting it together in a really interesting way.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is a big, big, big deal that like from your bank account in the app, you can just buy crypto.
Yeah.
That's incredible and so differentiated. I mean, just wrap your head around that. Can you in your Bank of America app buy crypto directly? You know what I mean? Like that's the analog. Because I think a lot of times people might think about SoFi as like Robinhood. It's not. It's your bank. It's a bank. This is a remarkable innovation. Okay, and then Visa direct stablecoin payout pilots speeds up access to funds for creators and gig workers. So Visa Direct is going to be paying gig workers and online creators in stablecoins now.
Yeah, and you get paid in minutes, not days, is what they're saying, which is incredible.
Because it's stablecoins.
Right. And it's not any different than dollars that we get it faster. You can go buy pizza this afternoon.
That's right.
You just transition it into real dollars and charge it on your Visa. It all settles in a month. No one even cares which it is.
That's right. Yeah. So it's moving. It's funny. It's like even from the time when we started covering crypto to now.
We started like this summer.
I know.
It's coming very quickly. It's faster than I expected.
It's coming very quickly. All right. Ending the show with the AI rundown. Moonshots. Kimi K2 thinking emerges as the leading open source AI, outperforming GPT-5, Claude Sonnet 4.5 on key benchmarks. So Kimi K2 is open source. It does require quite a bit of memory to run, kind of a minimum of 256 megs of memory. But it's a model of experts, right? So it's one sort of orchestrating model that has an embedded group of experts that can do all manner of things, and it's designed for agentic use cases. So agentic use cases meaning truly autonomous work. You give it a task, you go away for a couple of hours, you come back, and it's like put together the whole result for you. Not like asking you constant questions in sort of a chatbot model. Yeah.
And they did not spend that much money. I mean, we're talking
less than $5 million.
Billions and billions of dollars to train models. They spent less than $5 million to build this. Now, even if they're lying and it was more than that, it wasn't a lot of money.
Wasn't a lot of money.
And the Chinese are, necessity.
They don't have the money. Invention. They don't have the chips. We know this.
Yes. So they are having to innovate. And then because they want to show off how great they are, they're open sourcing it, which is great because we can use it and we can. And I was talking to someone this weekend, like not everyone who's not a dev understands this, but the open source, you can actually just take the code
and run it.
If
you got that's why I brought up the 256 megs.
Yeah, you can't run it on your phone.
No. It looks so you could run it on, just so people can kind of understand. You could probably run it on a Mac Studio with M3 Ultra, but it probably wouldn't run that well. Mm-hmm. You can get the new NVIDIA Spark with the Blackwell chip and get two of them and wire them together, and you can run it on that.
That's interesting, yeah.
Next year's Mac Studio with the M5.
We'll be able to run it.
You can just run it.
Yeah.
And that's coming out in like 5 months. Yeah. You just buy that. So it'll cost you $10K, all right? So let's say you spend $10K on this thing, but then that's it.
Right.
That's it. You're not paying for tokens. You're not paying every
a monthly thing.
No.
And then my point is that it doesn't matter who wrote the code. Yes, it was written by a Chinese person. You can download it here in Nashville and look at it all.
Yes.
And see that there's no secret backdoor sending information to China. Or if there even was, you could just delete it out.
Yeah.
And
you can just
run it.
You can just keep it off the internet.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to run it connected to the internet.
Right. So you have the entire store of human knowledge in a MacBook Studio for $10,000. And anything you want to talk with it about all day, every day, doesn't cost any more. You have that one-time cost, maybe electricity for in your house.
Electricity, right.
And that's just an incredible empowering tool for the world, for everyone. The U.S. frontier models need to sort of keep innovating, keep running, because the Chinese are on their heels.
100%. So with that, ChatGPT 5.1 is here. Is that good news? Do you care?
I don't really care.
I told you I don't use ChatGPT.
Yeah, I don't. use it either, except to test new models. This one just came out today. I haven't tested it yet, but there are 8 different like personalities. You can give it different flavors. It just seems gimmicky. I don't know. I think they're trying to front run. Google's going to come out with their new model soon.
Much more excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about OpenAI. Microsoft lays out ambitious AI vision free from OpenAI. I did not read this article. I did watch an hour-plus long podcast because I told you I've been doing this week's podcasting. Right. The Dwarkesh podcast with Satya Nadella. Tell me about this article. I'll tell you about the podcast.
Yeah, so Suleiman is building, Microsoft's view of where AI should plug in. And he wants it to be sort of people empowering primarily. So it is designed to sort of work like Microsoft's tool set works, like just to sort of make humans more productive. Yeah. They have the rights to OpenAI models, I think, into 2032. But he's also building their own models right now. So they'll have both, and they're just running full steam at this. I think it's Microsoft is really impressive. I mean, they're...
So I will say what Satya said that aligned with what you said. Dwarkesh is a really smart guy, Dwarkesh Patel. And so he was like, you're thinking about models like they're going to be like this, but they're really going to be like that, blah, blah, blah. And Satya, of course, like it's Satya Nadella, dude. He's got an...
It's not like he hasn't thought of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing that he said that, especially in a week where I was using Claude Code, was he was like, listen, the agents are going to want tools. Like they're not going to want to do everything themselves. Like it's not token efficient. Yeah. Like they are going to be as lazy as we are. They're going to want to leverage tools. The agent would rather have Excel than have to recreate Excel just because it can.
Yeah. So there's no reason to rebuild Excel every time you need to do a spreadsheet.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like I'm watching Claude code. Do you know how many tools Claude uses to code?
Yeah.
It doesn't like write all the code from scratch. It's like that would not be efficient.
Right.
It would so it's like even if we get to a world where AI is doing all the software work, it will still use Microsoft Word. It will still use Microsoft Excel, and so that aligns with this idea of like it being more of a co-pilot, right? Which is why I think Microsoft went with that name.
Yeah, yeah, and they have data distribution. Really, GitHub is a huge repository of data that is, it's largely open. So lots of people have also crawled on, but they own it. They can do what they want with it. Yeah.
They have distribution. They have infrastructure.
Yeah.
They have positive
then they
brand.
Have Xbox. They have all these worlds and games. And yeah, they're strong.
It's crazy. 7 lawsuits allege OpenAI encouraged suicide and harmful delusions. I mean, again, I just don't, I'm not bullish on this company.
Yeah, I'm not either, and they are in legal trouble. I mean, because it is a chatbot, there are pages and pages and pages of chats with people that have committed suicide, and the chatbot does not do a good job helping them get help, and so they're in trouble. They I think in general, OpenAI is a, all gas, accelerate AI kind of company. And that's paid off for them in some ways, but it also has downsides.
Article from the Wall Street Journal, the AI Cold War that will redefine everything. And this is really, there's a video here playing of a bunch of different Unitree robots and different companies that are not Unitree. Look, China has been killing everybody in the world when it comes to electronic manufacturing. And, I don't think most people think about what an incredible breakthrough in robotics LLMs have become, right? Because the code prior to LLMs was so hard and inefficient because of all the dexterity that a robot needs. Yeah. It needs token prediction, right? Token prediction was a total game changer for robotics because it's the same engineering prowess, but a radically different level of software. embedded in this
That's right.
in these robots now, right?
Yeah, and China. I mean, this story. We have several stories between China and the U.S. over the next couple stories. They are using all of the power of the Communist Party to encourage and fund winning the AI Cold War from their point of view. And with their population challenges, they're going to do that through robotics.
Yeah.
And they are way ahead of us in robotics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. Harder to catch up with than software.
There's nothing more to say about it. Like, they are way ahead of us. But America's chip restrictions are biting in China. What's going on here?
Yeah, so it is difficult. This story says it's very difficult to find the Blackwell chips or the new
obviously
Nvidia chips because
because of Trump.
Yeah, they're not allowed to be sold there, and so that is impairing them and let's say slowing them down.
Yeah, slowing them down.
I don't think it's fair to say it's stopping them.
No, definitely not.
We're putting up roadblocks and we're forcing them to innovate.
Yes,
which we saw with Kimi K2.
Yes, it's truly our one advantage is the chips.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's our one advantage.
That's our one advantage.
Ooh, I don't know if it's going to hold, but hopefully we will also build in robotics and other things.
Yeah. And how a Chinese AI company worked around the U.S. rules to access some of NVIDIA's top chips, working through kind of a shadow company in Indonesia.
Yeah, so this is, for people that are just listening, this is also from the Wall Street Journal. It's one day after the last story that they said it was impairing them. In Indonesia, there is a kind of nondescript building that is a data center that's providing NVIDIA chips for use to the Chinese companies. And they traced the chips all the way back. They were bought by a company that China has an ownership in California, and then shipped some to Indonesia, some to Australia. So there are ways around it, but it's they definitely aren't as many as if we just were selling it to them.
Right. But it's just sort of interesting the different things that China is doing to get access to these chips.
Innovation will find a way. They're going to figure out a way to.
Yeah, and by the way, as long as that's true, NVIDIA deserves to be a $5 trillion company, right? Like as long as.
I mean, you're doing all this to get this special silicon that no one else has.
Right. Okay, two more stories. China hatches a plan to keep the U.S. military from getting its rare earth magnets. So I thought. Well, what happened here, Vic? I thought Trump and Xi had
they shook hands. Yeah. They're now shipping rare earths again.
Yeah.
We were all excited, and they still are, but now they are using this validated end user system. It just basically, they are blacklisting companies that have military use.
Oh, okay.
And not allowing those companies to access rare earths. Which is frustrating, but I think that's probably what we would do.
Yeah, that seems like what we would do. That seems like fair play. I mean, it's obviously not good for the U.S. military, but if I'm just thinking, in the gamesmanship of it all.
Yeah, so we are not ready to have an actual war with China, and we need to work on.
They're not really ready to do that with us either.
They don't want to do it
either. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
So. That to me,
but we need to have a supply chain that is functional, because otherwise we.
Yeah, but they need a buyer of all their stuff. I mean, we're still. I think what's been really interesting to see, in the era of Trump, is that even with all the horse trading and stuff, we're still inextricably linked. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, the big thing is they have effectively gotten away from the dollar. Of all the things they've managed to untangle themselves from with us, they've moved to gold and they've gotten off the dollar. But in terms of the functionality of their economy, we're still very, very linked.
Yeah.
Very linked.
Yeah.
All right, final story. These AI power users are impressing bosses and leaving coworkers in the dust. So this story could not ring more true for me than this week.
Yeah.
I finally got to spend some time banging away with Claude Code, and it's a ridiculous superpower, and also it gives you insight into the reality of how powerful this technology is. If you are not using it, you don't know. You are responding emotionally. You are speculating. You're doing all manner of things that you can do those things and reality will still be reality, right? And one person who leans into these tools can easily do the work of 10 who won't.
Yes.
Easily.
That's right. And go home early.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there were so many stories about us fighting Cold War and things that I wanted to end with. Like, if you're listening to this, you can take, some initiative on your own, and whatever your career is. I mean, we're in venture.
Yeah.
I don't think AI is going to kill the job of venture capitalists, but I think VCs that leverage AI and really learn how to use it for the purpose of advancing their investment thesis, they're going to kill other VCs that don't.
100%.
That don't. And that's true in doctors. It's true in payers. It's true everywhere.
It's true everywhere.
And so it doesn't take any particularly great intelligence or effort. You have to just be curious and want to try.
Yep.
And not get frustrated, because it takes a while. It'll take a few weeks before you get anything that is valuable.
But the upside is ridiculous.
I mean, it's your life.
The
it's going
upside
to change
is
the
ridiculous.
world. Yes.
And I don't know how. I mean, listen. I shouldn't say I don't know how. You can absolutely be dogmatic about it because it looks pretty existential. So, how people decide to be in this moment, I'm not going to play judge on that. But if you are competitive and if you are tech forward, kind of never been a better time, because holy cow, like, it's funny. I was this week while I was coding, I was thinking, Thomas Friedman should come back and say, I told you the world was flat, because that's what this AI is doing.
Yeah.
It is truly flattening the whole world, And the only thing that's not distributed evenly is awareness of that.
Yeah.
But the tech is distributed evenly.
Yeah.
And we have to say that because of the open source component, right? I mean, because you don't even have to pay Sam Altman to use it.
Right. So, I mean, a friend of mine got laid off 2 weeks ago in marketing, and I was talking to him, like, trying to help, just trying to be helpful or whatever.
Sure.
And I said, you should listen to this podcast and you should pick up any of the tools, but it's dramatically impacting marketing, in my opinion. Every industry, but marketing is one of the first. And he said he didn't have time to listen to the podcast or really learn. And I was trying to be polite, but I wanted to say, well, what, you're not working. What are you doing? People just are scared, or it seems, I don't know, they're 50 years old and they haven't had to learn something in a while.
Vic, I don't think people understand how many podcasts you and I consume. And I don't mean like you and I mean you and I and the people who we are trying to be in the class of and compete alongside with, right? I mean, all I do is listen to podcasts.
Yes.
It's literally all I do.
There's no value in watching Fox News or CNN News. Like, there's no value. It's marketing shit, selling to some base and fear. Yeah. Yeah. And the podcasts are
alpha.
They're alpha. They differentiate.
Alpha.
And I think about it like just signals that I can't really make sense of until you see enough of them and you get enough perspective, and then you're like, oh shit, that's a picture there.
I probably listen to 30 podcasts a week, like episodes, unique episodes.
Yeah.
I probably listen to 30 a week. Okay. And every week that I finish listening to those 30, at the end, I think to myself, I would have no idea how fast this is all moving if I didn't listen to those 30 episodes.
That's right. And they're free. or you have to listen to ads, but they're mostly free.
That's how fast it's all going.
And that's happening every week. So I listen to...
I mean, but look, how many people? Look, how many people in our own ecosystem don't listen to this podcast, right? That we know, and like they fucking should. Not because it makes me feel better. I don't care. It literally does. I could care less. But I know how behind they are.
Yeah, that's right.
I know how behind they are. Like, if they didn't want to, like, if they're in healthcare and you wanted to just like spend 1 hour knowing what's going on in economy, crypto, AI, like you could just listen to this, and people don't, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
And here's my favorite part. Like, they won't listen to this, so maybe they'll catch me on a conference stage where I get paid $50,000 to say the same thing they could be listening to me say for free.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't, I'm fine not having like the biggest podcast in the world and you pay me a ton of money for me to do a keynote. Like, that's fine. But it's just like this is where people's heads are.
We haven't taught anyone that you have to be like a continuous learner to survive in the world today. I don't think we've really taught that broadly. And a lot of people our age, they feel like they trained for a career and then now they have the career. They don't really want to go learn new stuff. And I just think it doesn't matter what you want or don't want.
That's right.
That just is.
That's right.
The thing.
Doesn't matter. I will not be here next week, but you have a great guest.
I have a great guest. Cam Matthews is going to be on. She is nervous because she hasn't done a lot of podcasts.
Oh, she'll be
and
great.
I told her that it will be easy. She is brilliant and going to be really good.
Yeah, awesome. So have a good time next week. I will be back the week of Thanksgiving. We're going to do a show on Wednesday night.
Yes.
But I'm off next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting it together.
Yeah.
See you in a couple weeks.